Hello, welcome to our new show, Theatre Time. Theatre Time? Theatre Time. Why theatre? I don't know, it's the first thing I thought of. It'll do. It'll do. Why is it here? It's what's happened to Fun with Film. Fun with Film is still alive, it's still kicking. I know nothing's happened for a while, but we're waiting for an announcement. No, we're not. We're waiting for some news that might lead to an announcement of great importance and excitement, and that's why not a lot's happening. I know what the next episode is going to be. So what's happening with Theatre Time? What's that about then? About, I don't know, 4 years ago. Hopefully somebody will watch this and say, oh yeah, I remember that. Because I'm going to tag them in the taggy thing. So if they search themselves on the internet, this video will come up. Anyway, that's beside the point. It's about partly about my time in the theatre industry, because I said I'd tell people some stories about that, and I'm going to. We'll have stories about blacking out half of London, which was nothing to do with me. We weren't even affected by that one. Blowing holes in the pavement. That was before my time, but actually not long before my time. It certainly happened in the theatre I've worked in. What else we got to talk about? Oh, the noose incident. That's quite fun. I was directly involved with that. That was when I was chief electrician at a theatre, and I actually tied the noose. So yeah, that was quite fun. And those blowing things up. Well, how to induce heart failure in your cast, your crew, and half your audience. That's quite fun. That was local. That wasn't in London. That was quite amusing. That's a double one, because that same show taught me why you should take theatre superstition seriously, which of course we now do. There are a fair few fun stories. Is there a doctor in the house? And yes, I've heard that announcement, and it was genuine, it was live, and a medical practitioner was required backstage quite urgently. There's a story behind that. Bumping about 500,000 candle power into the third row back of the audience. That was also quite entertaining. And it wasn't coming from behind; it was coming from on stage, straight. That section of row C suddenly became sort of, well, they saw the rest of the show with big purple blobs in front of their eyes. And the 4 pints of urine incident, again, nothing to do with mine. It wasn't mine. It was somebody else. It wasn't even the LX department. It was stage management. That comes from the same show. So there's three things in that show. There's quite a lot we can talk about. We're going to talk about some of the new technology. It's not so new now, but it was certainly when I was in London. Blue LEDs, I knew they existed, and I'll tell you why. It had to do with a good friend of mine at the time, and one of a very close relative of his was involved in the development of blue LEDs, and that's how I found out about them. And we're going to look at the theatre itself. Theatre as almost as a phenomenon. I've spent the last 20 odd years sort of being fairly academic, and my thinking on theatre has changed. It's changed from when I was working in the theatre, where I'd squirt lights and everything, and drastic cast getting in my way, ruining my lighting as set designers, putting things in the way of my lighting. Yeah, please audiences. It's just very tiresome. Theatre's more than that, and actually, just the lighting and the electric side is more than just having fun. There's an awful lot of theory behind it, which we won't tire you with. But theatre is more than that. Theatre's about the building, and it's about the people, and it's about how the people interact with each other, how audience and cast interact together, and how audience interacts with other audience members. And that's partly what makes successful theatre. And we can apply that to education, we can apply that to schools, we can look at teaching. That's an interesting thought. And of course, what a as an academic, what I tend to have to do a lot now is look at it as part of the church, part of the liturgy. How does that work? What's that got to do with theatre? Oh, you should see priests race. Of course, you do realise that what you do on a Sunday morning is pure theatre, don't you? And they talk about, but it's the church. Yeah, it's pure theatre. We'll look at why, and why. Yeah, actually, we might put quite a bit of effort into that and look at why churches are doing it wrong. It might have something to do with why congregations, congregations are slowly drifting away. It's the other reason that congregations are slowly drifting away is very, very much Moosey's territory, not Imagine's. It's probably actually a bigger reason why congregations are drifting away. But there is, the church could do well to look at the theatre and learn how to keep people interested, which theatre does exceedingly well. So what are we going to start with? Well, we'll probably start with, providing I can find the right photograph, the Scottish play and blowing up your castle. No, the Scottish play and one of the superstitions that goes with the Scottish play, and scaring your cast, your crew and your audience half to death with, shouldn't have done that. And it wasn't me, I was one of the victims of that one, along with quite a lot of other people. But the two are linked, and they're actually nothing to do with Shakespeare. It was a Spanish play, but they're linked, and the superstitions are linked. So we'll look at those fairly soon. And if I can't find the photograph, we'll do the blue LED story. I might actually do some stories because we were both working in theatres, so I might do some stories about just living in London and tormenting my roommate when he wasn't tormenting me. We'll see you all soon.